Alright, what's up YouTube? This is Chopped Celery, and in this video I wanted to do an update on the video that I had posted that I titled a Battle Mage for GreedFall on extreme difficulty. Now, this update just comes along the lines of changing some of the attribute points that I had initially selected for like my battle mage build, but this I'm actually going to be calling the Pride of Thélème, just because it's honestly just it looks like the Inquisitors of the Thélème faction. So I'll, again, just like the other build videos I've done, I'll review the gear that I have equipped in addition to my skills, attributes, and talents, and then I'm going to show you it in action against a large group of enemies in the coin arena, and then against a boss in the coin arena. So we'll just jump right into it. So for my equipment, I ended up going with the Anti-Cardinals set, which I believe you can find in the Origins of the Thélème quest line. I believe that's where you can find this. I think you need at least 2 intuition to get into the area where this set is found. And this set, it's a pretty hefty set, so you do need a decent amount of endurance. So that's actually the attribute point that we had traded off for strength compared to my original Battle Mage video. So I'm wearing the Anti-Cardinals helmet. I'm wearing the Grand Chain of the Ordo Luminous, which this is also part of my other Battle Mage build. You can acquire this by getting to friendly status with Thélème. This is just good for, magic regen, in addition to having the stasis duration upped by 4 seconds, in addition to having magic explosion damage boosted by plus 45. And you do need a willpower of 4 to use this. So I am using a cape. I know in a lot of my other videos I wasn't using one, but this just gives me a little bit more armor, 15% more balance. It does give me the charisma talent +1, so just figured because I'm wearing all of the Thélème gear, might as well rock out their faction cape. So I do have on the chest, so the ceremonial armor, chest, gloves, and boots. For the chest, I decided to go ahead and it has the lockpicking +1, so in the upgrade slot for my, I don't know exactly what you would call that, utility slot, I guess. I decided to go with lockpicking just because it gives me +6% Fury generation, which we're going to be using our Fury more so for single target DPS rather than using Fury for like a large group AoE stun kind of move, like what we were doing in the Battle Mage original video. So, and obviously I'll show that in my rotation. And this, my primary ring, so I'm using the Ring of the Divine Light compared to my Battle Mage video of using the Ring of the Divine Fury. I'm honestly just using this, I bought this from a vendor. It does the same amount of damage. It does more stun, as you saw. It does about 10% more stun, and it costs 17% less to do a Fury attack. Like, it costs 17% less Fury to do a Furious attack with the ring equipped compared to the Ring of Divine Fury. So that's why we're going to be using this. Just we're going to be able to pump out more Furious attacks with the ring equipped. So my secondary, it's just a white quality hammer. I never switch to this, so that's just, it doesn't really matter that I have this. And obviously I don't have any firearms. So, all right, we'll jump into the skills. For this, I just maxed out the magic tree, and I did not put any points into the one-handed heavy weapons skill line. So I did start off as a mage archetype, just so it'll automatically give me the Divine Magic Ring in addition to the Stasis. I will be using the Magic Healing skill in addition to using the Shield of the Enlightened, just for more survivability purposes. But for this particular build compared to the Battle Mage build that I initially put out, I'm not going to be using Storm. I just feel, because we're not so squishy, because we have all this heavy armor that you saw that has at least endurance requirements of 3 and 4, I can tank a lot more hits. I'm not just going to go down in maybe 1 or 2 swings, so I don't really need to worry about always having to rely on this to keep me alive in battle. So for the attributes, like I said, I swapped out strength for endurance, just give me some more health, and balance, just so survivability purposes, as well as being able to wear the armor that I am. Now, I only ended up putting 4 points into willpower just because my build is not going to revolve around using that big AoE attack shadow burst. I'm not going to be using that too much. So it's okay that I don't have maxed out magic points and effect duration, addition of +1 second. So that's okay. But I still kept mental power at +5, at rank 5, excuse me, just because I still wanted to get the most amount of damage and increase my fury generation, which is going to help me in combat. Okay, we'll move over to the talents. For this, I would still say like charisma, that's always a good one. I didn't necessarily focus on science, that's okay. I do have vigor, just so it increases my health and mana outside of combat. And I did focus on craftsmanship for this one, specifically so that way I could upgrade the armor, like my chest, gloves, and boots going into battle, just to make sure that I have as much defense as possible. So I didn't have to waste money going to the blacksmith. So that's just why I chose these. But without further ado, let's go ahead and we will go and see this build in action.
Ready to excite the crowd.
Alright, and as you see, I do have Afra and Kurt with me, and as long as like my other build videos, just because Afra is a good range DPS and Kurt is just a good tank. So other than that, I really can't justify bringing anybody else. So
I don't need to remind you how this works.
We'll do round 2. We'll do the large group of enemies. So let's just pause first. Alright, I don't have a full fury meter, but there you go. You can see all of my spells and their shortcuts, or like their hotkeys. So probably the best way to go in is just to go in and do the shadow impact, just because it has a decent amount of stun. And we're just going to be kind of doing like our parry with the ring equipped, just the enlightened protection, just to deflect some of the attacks. And it's honestly, we're just going to be a mage tank going into here. We're not really going to worry about using shadow burst, just because we don't have as much mana as we could have, just because we sacrifice some of that in addition to strength for endurance. So we'll just jump down. Alright, let's do this. Stasis always a good one, just because they take more damage. Push away, we'll use the Fury attack. Stasis that guy again. Let's get out of here. Oh my god. Oop, I did get struck, I just saw there, that's okay. Alright, I guess it's probably a good time. We probably could use the burst here, just because we're starting to get a little overwhelmed. That's alright. You'll have that time to time, but I find that I'm not really going to ever be focusing on just using that sole ability, just because I think I showcased in my other build videos that it just uses a crap ton of mana, and with not having as max mana as you could, sometimes the management, especially on lower levels, it's going to be more difficult. Oh shoot! Just and done. There you go. Okay, so this obviously will take a little bit longer to take down a group of enemies. However, it's just more so focused on survivability, giving us more endurance, being able to wear heavier armors, and just, systematically taking out enemies compared to just running in there, using the storm ability, and then using the shadow burst. Just because you may not always have enemies that are clumped together, you may have range enemies attacking you, and melee, so you may not be able to take them all out at once. So this is, I'd probably focus on this more so in late game, just because I can't really justify using a melee weapon, specifically as a mage. So it's been a lot of fun to do this, and I haven't gone down as much as I had in testing the build and doing the run-throughs as I did compared to my original battle mage video. So let's do the 5th challenge. We'll do round 3.
I don't need to remind you how this works.
And it'll be against one of the guardian enemies. Now this is definitely going to be important that we're not going to use, obviously, that storm ability. That's just a waste. But this is also why I wanted to use this ring, and specifically compared to the the Ring of the Divine Fury, just because I can pop off a couple of Fury attacks. I think I was able to get off 3 there with a full Fury meter, compared to only being able to use two Fury attacks with the Ring of the Divine Fury. I think it's just an overall better pick, especially if you're going to be using those kind of attacks. Another thing that's good about this is because I have a decent amount of armor and balance, I can actually, when I deflect or like when I parry, just by using B or I guess that would be circle on the PlayStation, when I do that right before the enemy strikes me, they will sometimes become off balance, so it just helps like that. It's just to make sure that I don't get knocked down, despite being able to block the attack. So it just helps me with my rotation and just keep me survivability in combat. That got after me there. Oh. Oh, I got knocked down. I didn't block in time. As well as, like, being able to use a Furious attack compared to just using magic abilities, it just helps you to regenerate your mana over time. And just like that, we are done. Okay, kind of like I said, it's just a little bit more survivability, instead of just being like a burst, squishy kind of build. So again, my name is Chop Celery. I really appreciate y'all watching. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to leave it on this video or just message me, especially if you have like a build idea. I'm more than happy to entertain that. And I appreciate you all watching, friends. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.